So yeah, thank you so much again. So good evening again, and thank you so much, each and everyone, for joining again for this RCB speaker series. So I'd like to welcome all the other members who have joined from different other clubs. Thanks to Rafi, who's joined in from Rotary Club of Ames, and Rakesh who's joined in from Mangalore, and others who have also joined. Also thank Shreya, who's joined in from St. Joseph Autonomous. Thank you so much for joining. And if there are other club members, please do mention your name and the club name in the chat so that uh, people are aware that that we welcome you. Thank you so much again for joining. Thanks to all our club members, RCB members, for joining this evening. We also have Ramesh from Symbiosis College. Thank you just so much. Okay. So a special welcome to our speaker for the day, Narayan sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So, as we know, Rotary Club of Bangalore started off with this initiative of RCB Speaker Series. This is a flagship event or the project for the year that we started off. It was a professional development initiative that we took for the benefit of all our Rotaractors. I think Rotaractors, most of them are young professionals and college-going students. So it is for the benefit of them to take good decisions in their career path and everything. So we had a number of speaker series that we finished successfully. We had good, wonderful speakers, and this is the fourth edition that we have come. So we've successfully completed all three editions of our speaker series. So we also had a few activities that happened last week. I think most of our members took part in different online activities that the district conducted, like the lockdown symposium. And we also, our members took part in E-Railas, the Rotary Youth Leadership Award event of different other districts, international events as well. And so it's good that members are keeping themselves occupied during this lockdown period. Yesterday also we had our RCB Friday Fun and Fellowship event. We had different tasks and activities lined up for them to keep them involved. We also had some games planned for them. So good that we had a wonderful fellowship event yesterday. Thanks everyone for joining. And I also have some other important announcements for you guys. So we have this RMB Enclave. So it's on the 23rd of May 2020. So it's an online business conclave which is organized by RMB. RMB is nothing but Rotary Means Business Bangalore chapter. So it's that it gets all the businesses, including all the Rotarians from different parts of the world, including India and other international districts as well. So it's going to be a place where there are going to be hundreds of businesses that are going to be present online. So you can pitch in and to the different targeted business groups through channelized breakout sessions will be there, different sessions. So the different streams of businesses that is going to be concentrated is going to be IT, the information technology, manufacturing, real estate, healthcare, hospitality, services and consulting, food and retail, and last one is wealth and finance. So these are the different verticals that the businesses meet or the conclave is going to be concentrated on. So the registration link has already been shared on our social media handles, on our WhatsApp groups as well. So make sure that if there's anyone who's interested to be a part of this RMB conclave, the online conclave, so it's RMB Enclave. So please do share the links to them and make sure that they register and take part in this on 23rd May 2020. Okay. And we also have tomorrow, that's Mother's Day coming up tomorrow. So it's time for us to thank, not just tomorrow, every day of our life, we have to be thankful to our mothers and for all the sacrifices that they've done for us. And so we thought, let's celebrate this Mother's Day in a special way. So you can help your mom in any way that is possible by you. So do take some pictures, take some videos, or say something about your mom in a paragraph. You can write something and share it to us so that we share it on our social media handles. Say why your mother is your super mom. So give us one paragraph that you can write about your mom, or a picture that you really love, or a video. Send it to us. We'll share it on our social media handles with the hashtag supermom. Okay. And Abhi, is there any other secretary announcements that you have? Abhi?
So I think I think you covered almost everything, which is awesome.
Okay.
So I think Nandan, you can just go ahead and introduce Mr. Narayan Kini for all of us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, Abhijit. Thank you,
Yes,
Joe.
ma'am. Thank you.
And evening all. Hope all are safe and healthy. As connecting with Joe, these are 4 sessions what we are doing with a very successful way. So for this session, we have Narayan Kini sir. So talking about him, he's also a master degree in financial analysis, chartered financial analysis, and also a certified finance planner, having a 30 years of huge experience in this particular field in market, banking, and finance. So also he served as a senior vice president in SBI mutual funds and also a country head. And coming to now, he is an associated with Udyog Bharati Karnataka as advisor for startups. And also he runs his own business as a principal advisor called First Assets. In his career, he has offered unique opportunities and also is the man who has traveled 26 countries till now, and he also guides young entrepreneurs and also employees and graduating students on the mentoring and all the startups. Sir, it's our privilege to host you today, and we are much keen to listen about your words and to take a knowledge from your side. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, and thank you for having me in this discussion session, your speaker series. Good evening to all the members of RCB and students and young friends. Today, the topic given to me is post-pandemic economic condition for students and young professionals. I'll share my screen.
Yeah.
So whoever's sharing has to unshare it first. Yeah.
Yeah, I stopped sharing.
Oh, okay. See, as everybody is, quite often saying in these last 45, 50 days that this is something, which they're saying is witnessing this or experiencing this for the first time. Um, so I thought, the apt caption for our discussion today is adapt, challenge, and emerge. This is especially with these 45 days of lockdown, complete lockdown across the countries. Multiple countries are in similar situation, and nobody has a clue as to how this economic condition will pan out. There are only people have been thinking that this should when the economy opens up, we'll have things maybe like this, or there is all extrapolation, interpolation happening. Nobody knows exactly how this is going to happen. At the same time, everybody is talking about a change in behavior, and there's going to be a huge behavioral change which is happening. All these things we will discuss, because we need to observe these 45 days, or maybe the 90 days, last 90 days, ever since China had a breakout of this pandemic. So what I'll do is, I'll just discuss with you all those things which we all of us have observed or experienced. We'll just try and summarize these points, and then go one by one as per our subject, which is what is going to happen for the employees, what is going to happen for the professionals, business, SMEs, startups, how things, and what are the business opportunities, challenges, and how do we emerge from this whole situation. So this is a simple flow of uh, this presentation. I avoided a lot of juggleries and lot of numbers, so that all the students, whoever is there across the spectrum, everybody is able to understand in simple terms. Having said that, you are welcome to ask me any question. We'll keep large portion of this discussion for Q&A, so that both me and you stand to gain. um, so what's up and what's there right now? See, in this pandemic, leaders had just one decision to make. There's no multiple decisions to make. You either choose economy or life. And you know how many countries have chosen life first and economy. That's for us to go on debating. There is something very interesting happened. Everybody has started drawing the borders, right from village to districts, states, and whether it is countries. Everybody started drawing the boundaries. Whereas very recently we introduced GST, and we had removed boundaries within the country. So we had removal of toll gates, we had removed multiple checkposts. The social distancing is a new norm, which we have been talking about, but physical touch may not be a good etiquette going forward. Video calls have been preferred over text messages. Text messages were widely used before. Then web-based transaction made way to the WhatsApp business. Call center was hosted from cloud and agents worked from home. Generally, the call centers used to work from a brick and mortar office structure. And the Netflix has become a new TV channel. Kirana shop, local warehouse. It's become a warehouse because now the distribution is happening from the Kirana house, and the large e-tailers are going to make this Kirana shop as their local warehouse. Delivery boys have been profusely thanked in these last 45 days, and internet is now an essential service. Smartphone has now almost become a new office. Everything you can function from your office, from your mobile phone. Human retreat has been wonderful. Animals have found their rightful place. Rivers have been, flowing very clean. It's actually very crystal clear. Mountains are visible, and the ozone layer is getting filled. So this is something, what's there for us in these 45 to 50 days. There have been some international headlines. All the countries are in recession. We are yet to come across a country claiming that we are, still going good. But recession does not mean negative growth. It does not, and it does not last long. This is where a lot of pain is coming into the our minds, that recession may end up being a negative growth. And when economy contracts, not every activity contracts. Some contract more, some less, and few emerge. International Monetary Fund has kept about 1 trillion US dollar ready for COVID help to countries, and just 30 countries have applied for help. China was never suspected so much. This is maybe the beginning of a trade war, and there is a huge trust deficit around China's intent. China is pushing hard to make the yuan or the RMB, renminbi, as the trade, as the currency for the trade deals between the countries. And they're setting up the servers which are alternative to the SWIFT system, which is being currently used for foreign exchange transfers through the SWIFT servers, which are at Netherlands, Switzerland, and US. China is also pushing the countries to keep RMB as a reserve currency. Though it is treated as one of the reserve currency, China is using its all might to push all the countries who are dealing with them, or wherever China has extended loans, they are pushing them to have RMB as a reserve, which is an alternative to the dollars. Led by USA, many countries are ganging up against China. So this is something in a nutshell, the international headlines. So many are there, but we have a limitation in terms of discussing. India headlines. India budget deficit was Indian revenue. The budget revenue is 24.2 trillion, whereas our current account expenditure is 30.42 trillion. So we had a current account deficit of 5.62 trillion. But this pandemic has left us with an additional corona cost, which is about 4.2 trillion. So yesterday, the government has announced that it's going to borrow 12 trillion from the economy. That's going to be 1 trillion, that is 1 lakh crore every month. So we are going to be in a huge deficit. And right now, this is not time to look at all the mathematics. What is the GDP? What is the deficit? How many percentage? And all those things. We don't have much scope to look at all those things. So right now, the priority is to borrow and saturate the economy. So we may end up our economy being the same at the last year GDP, which was 2.93 trillion, plus or minus here, there, maybe, close to about 2.95 or 3 trillion we might end up, despite having 1 month of lag in this financial year. What is interesting to note is banks have deposited with RBI in reverse repo 3.85 trillion at the beginning of this lockdown. Currently, that balance stands at 8.75 trillion. That means a 5 lakh crore has not been used in the economy, which is just lying up as a reverse repo deposit from the banks in the Reserve Bank of India. Unemployment rate, which was around 17% before the lockdown, has now gone to 25%. CMIE is a interesting data which pulls out all Indian economic data. I urge all of you to visit this site and note many statistics. Equity markets saw about 36% crash, but compared to 2008, this time the retail investors are unmoved. In fact, the SIPs have not been stopped, whereas the safe debt mutual funds had a run due to credit risk perception, and Franklin Templeton shut 6 debt schemes. Oil prices are at all-time low right now. In fact, we have seen even the negative oil prices for about 2 weeks. That is, if you buy oil, you will also get money. That was the kind of situation prevailed in the commodity market. But whereas in India, we have no scope for reducing the price, we have been using that cushion to set off the revenue deficit in the budget. There have been multiple stimulus package to ease the credit crunch in the system. RBI and Government of India have announced already 2 such bailouts for NBFCs, which is largely to help NBFCs and MSMEs. Direct transfer benefit during this pandemic has been 36,659 crores, credited to 16 crore people. So this is a humongous transaction which has taken place in these last 30 days. And the generous Indians have fed every hunger person. And there is not a reported, we have not had any report of a death due to hunger. The PM CARES Fund received 6,500 crores in just 1 week. So you had donors right from famous personalities, including poor people who have donated 10 rupees, 100 rupees, and thousands of crores from corporates. So 6,500 crore in 1 week is something phenomenal the country has never witnessed. And Vande Bharat rescue operation is going on since yesterday. About 1.8 million Indians will be brought back from outside the country who are stranded in different countries. So this is one mammoth evacuation operation which is going on right now. And the Indians behaved very well during this lockdown, followed the regulations, law, public discipline, and all these things were adhered to. Now let's just come and see, what is happening in the job market. So there's something more or something less is happening in the jobs. I just wanted to discuss because my discussion with Nandan led that, there's so many people are scared about the job, and job is something, we need to discuss. With my experience in the corporate world for almost about 30 years working, I would tell you performance means participation and solving problems for all. So in a employment world, in a corporate job, we'll have a lot of problems to solve. And the problems to solve is not only for myself, my team, my boss, and my company. And the firms will not retain difficult employees. There is a fear that many people feel that their jobs may be axed, but this should be only with the people who have a behavioral problem. My experience so far has been that when it comes to terminating the employee who is high performer and have a behavioral problem, and a moderate performer who is a pleasant behavior to work with, all the time I've seen the bosses have preferred to keep a person who is very easy to manage and a moderate or maybe is a high performer. But the difficult employees find it very difficult to continue with their job in a crisis where it comes to I have to retain either one of them. So this is something as employees who are working or young employees who are seeking a job should keep this in mind. And these are the times when the learning and experience comes the most. The difficult times throws a lot of learning, and we get enriched with experience. It only happens if we are flexible, we are open to transfers, we are open to low remunerations, and we are also open to upskilling ourselves. What I see and what I expect from these 45 days of extensive webinars, a lot of video conferences, Zoom conferences, so many things are happening. What I feel is the B2Bs have applied a lot of these conference calls, webinars, and video conferences, which I feel is going to be a great threat for the salespeople, relationship managers in the B2B space, because everything can be monitored from a central place. And AI and ML, there is alternative, the artificial intelligence and machine learning will be used extensively in B2B relationship management. It's very easy to manage the B2B clients because you know their preferences, you know their expectations, and it is very easy to manage from a central places. So you can see a B2B RMs may have a lot of churn in that particular segment. Whereas there is an opportunity in the B2C segment. The RMs or the sales or the sales such people who are working in the B2C is going to have a lot of such tough situation, especially the education, leisure, travel, automobiles. All these sectors are going to do a lot of stuff in the coming days to fight back this slowdown or the piling up of the stocks. So you will see them simply not sitting quiet and see that nothing is going to happen. This sector, which is facing a lot of a problem as far as the slowdown is concerned, they will fight back. And somebody who's looking at making a career in these sectors, that's the best thing to join, because you will be rewarded there. You have a huge experience to gain. And mostly all the people who are looking at job or who are in the job, they have to shed a little bit of expectation and be flexible, both in terms of salary, location, company, work area. Connecting, networking with your friends, old acquaintances, ex-employees, ex-team members, seeking reference, this always works. There could be some changes in the fixed salaries to flexible remuneration, including contractual payments. People may move to contractual payments. Working for multiple employers through subcontracting may happen. You just look at how doctors are working or how teachers are working as faculties in teaching in multiple colleges, or the doctors visiting multiple uh, uh, hospitals. The same thing could happen to so many professionals who will be working for multiple employers. This is not exactly outsourcing, but this is a sort of working in a multiple employment contracts. So these are some changes which could come in, and one has to be open to such offers. In terms of startup and MSME, how do we go forward? See, the slowing economy has now nearly eliminated many weaker businesses. The slowdown, this pandemic is happening, unfortunately for India, at a time when we have had a longer slowdown. In almost about 12 to 18 months, various MSME sectors have faced the slowdown, and the last one to come to them is lockdown. So in these 18-24 months, many businesses and the business models have already been eliminated. So new business will find now some room, and the old businesses will make all the efforts to elbow the weaker ones. And some of the businesses which were struggling to find a space will now suddenly find vacuum and they'll emerge. These are the things which happen in a business economy. Not that everybody will fail. Someone whom you think is going to be weak will sense an opportunity if he is smart and quickly occupy that space. All these things you will see in the next 6 to 12 months. just to say that nothing is going to happen. All those people are going to be eliminated in this 6 to 12 months. uh, Startup valuation is not very easy anymore, because there are businesses which were valid in the last 6 to 12 months may not be valid in the coming uh, uh, you know 5-10 years. All those ideas may simply become redundant. Investors are going to be very, very careful about selection. Only massive multipliers gets interest. So startup, all ideas don't end up necessarily becoming a startup. Generally we feel that when I have a idea, I feel that my idea is the best and it's the best startup. It doesn't happen that way. Investors will always look at how many times this business can grow. A startup will generally use technology, and it has the ability to grow, some say 100x, 200x, 300x. Only if your business grows in such large multiplier, only then you get the interest from the investors. So therefore, I request the group, anybody looking at getting into becoming an entrepreneur, define your business, whether it's a startup or an MSME. Every startup need not be a startup. It could be an MSME. It could be a micro industry. It could be a small industry or a medium enterprise. So what is required right now is to research and research about your idea. Extensive research is required before you start your business. Just to feel that my idea is good is not enough going forward. Extensive research are required. Banks are full of loan offers to new business. You may really be surprised. You get a collateral free loan up to 2 crore within 8 days, and you don't have to struggle to visiting branch to branch or bank to bank. Everything can happen online. There's so many facilities, so many schemes which are there for either a startup or a MSME ideas. There is lots of subsidies which are offered by government of India and the state governments too. You have to meet banks, discuss with bankers, SIDBI, trade bodies, attend webinars. Lots of webinars are happening in the MSME startup space. In fact, everybody is at home these days, and everybody is busy attending meetings. This is the order of the day. And meet professionals, try and have a mentor. Uh, Having a mentor is always useful when you start a business. And coming to the business at large, business is always, when there is a pain, there is a gain. All the businesses have to attend to the pain points of the customer. If there is no pain suffered by the customers, we have no business to offer. We have no service to offer. So look for the pain in the system and try to address. All your business ideas should be sensing or observing these pain points. Just to give you what has happened in the last 45 days, the apps were used to locate who is a COVID victim near you. Olden days, we had to find out, who is there in our area who is suffering from COVID. It's so easy. You have an app and just see, who is the victim close to your house. Or, the pain point for the health worker is to, quarantine him in at home, and, you don't know whether he'll go out of the house or not. Just ask him to geotag his picture from time to time so that you ensure that he doesn't go out of a home anywhere. So this was extensively used. In Mumbai, especially, the newspaper circulation is very large, and the collection boy has to go from home to home, the flat to flat, to collect the funds. The month-end fees. He was finding it difficult, and nobody is willing to allow these people. So quickly you had apps coming in like Spidergy and Paper King for a micro collection for paper newspaper payments and gym payments and all the small micro payments. Quickly 2-3 apps came in. What is happening? The most famous apps like Zomato and Swiggy is facing a stiff opposition from the hotels because of the margins, white labeling of the food. All these things are leading to hotels being very, very discontent, and they want to have their own platform. So you have a huge opportunity in this place, because for some time at least, people coming to hotel and having food with family may not happen that frequently. So there is going to be sourcing of the food to the home from a nearest hotel or the hotel which they like. So all these hotels are going to now come out of the aggregation to a segregation. So these are something which you may sense and start looking at having some business models. A new delivery boy may be a drone. We don't know. Our skies are not very clear. It is not allowed for such thing. But if there is a business demand and if the government feels very secured, a drone may be available on hire going forward. So this is something which is a possibility. Reliance Jio and Facebook coming together has thrown a lot of opportunity in India. They are going to come up with a massive startup system. The opportunity for startup systems to offer a lot of technology support. You have you also can participate in hackathons. From BPCL, HPCL, ONGC, several companies run a hackathon because they have certain pains in their processes. They want to address that. They want to give it to entrepreneurs who want to solve these problems. They come out with a problem statement. All that you need to do is understand that, give them a solution, and that whole process is given to you with the funding so that you become an entrepreneur. All these things are available. Generally, startups don't look at exploring these uh, possibilities. Therefore, I thought I should share this with you. Look for patents on royalty. Many entrepreneurs thinks that I need to have something path-breaking invention or a discovery so that I can start my business. It's not necessarily so. There's so many patents available on royalty. In fact, if you go to the DRDO site, 1,500 patents are available on royalty. You can pick and choose a technology you want to develop, or you want to straight away start producing such using those technology. You have a Central Food Processing technology of India has several patents available, which you can, whichever technology you are interested, you can just take that, pay them a royalty, uh, and start the business. You have a railway research development service organization. They have a n number of patents available. You can straight away take. Of course, these are all railway related is a large medium and small industries, but so many things are available already in the system. One doesn't have to reinvent the wheel. There is a sense that I feel there is a massive reverse migration which is happening. The reverse migration is not happening only within the states, between the districts. It's going to happen within the between the countries. This all happening if you see the kind of pain these people went through moving back to their own places is the same kind of a labor, but you saw the construction labor from Bihar and UP coming to Bangalore. Bangalore, the Karnataka people moved to Andhra. Andhra people moved to Tamil Nadu. You know, to do the same work, the construction or some labor work, people from moved from state to state, which in fact within their state they could have performed this duty, but then they did not know who was offering such opportunity. Maybe an app or a large bank in this segment can work vendors so that people don't have to migrate so much to find a job which is very available, which is available close to their regions. So this is something the business part. And again, most talked about, most discussed about is work from home. Every day in the newspaper, WhatsApp jokes, everything is work from homes, which is going on. But then work from home necessarily does not mean home. It can be any place. So when you work from a home, if you are from, let's say, Hubli, you are in Bangalore for a job, and you are allowed to work from home, there is no need for you to work from Bangalore home. You can work from a Hubli home rather. So it can be work from any place which is there, and this will end up in having new cities emerging. Uh, people who are working from their farm, maybe you have an experienced engineer who was working as an agriculturist now. Lack of labor gives way to lots of mechanization in the cities. Lot of truck and transport related labor has left the place. You don't have loaders, porters available. Maybe the mechanization starts happening in the city to move these, to be part of this logistic chain. So a lot of mechanization you'll see which is going to happen, especially in the large cities, which is now had a reverse a migration. Now you have a smaller cities. There has been 100 smart cities, which has been in the talks for the last 3-4 years. So many things were happening. Now suddenly you find these cities filled with activity because many people will work from home. That is, they go back to their places. What does that mean? That means redistribution of population between the towns, cities, states, countries due to reverse migration spike up a lots of demand for essential in those smaller places. And if somebody is very smart, he will be offering those services, essential services, which are available in the large cities, in a smaller cities. So you will see a redistribution of services also happening between the large and smaller cities. There is a behavioral change which may take place going forward, because even the old people who are very very averse to doing online transactions have now learned doing that. um, they were extremely averse. They were very very careful doing any online transactions. Now they had to do it because there is no other go. So you will see a lot of behavioral changes in banking. Insurance, you will see a lot of changes. Insurance premiums will undergo a lot of changes. Investment patterns will change. uh, Risk aversions will change. Maybe people will become more risk taking or less risk taking. There's online shopping trends will change. People might not buy many things which are required, which days to buy in the past. If you're not going out of home, I don't think you keep buying many clothes if there is no social gathering happening. So these are some of the changes which are going to happen in behavior, and every change in behavior will offer you a lot of challenges, and those are the opportunities for us to seize upon. And as I said, that there are two sectors which are going to face a huge disruption, which is education and health. It's not going to be the same the way it was in the month of January or February. Education, the problem faced in the education sector was a brick and mortar. Most of the cost of our education was actually a real estate rent, or the capital invested on building these classrooms. Now that is been challenged, and the education sector has quickly adopted to online teaching and exams. You see most of the children right now are undergoing online coaching classes, and most of the universities have now got back, at least outside India, for a quick examination, online examinations which are being conducted, including in UK as on date. There is a standardized coaching which is available, and this coaching will remove the physical space. Teachers may become redundant because you have now digital assets created. The classroom recordings can be used 24 bar 7, and teachers may suddenly find it redundant, because once you record a chemistry lesson 13, it is not required to be done every day. It is already recorded. It can be played 24 bar 7 by students. Teachers can now work from home and offer a dedicated coaching for students who want one-on-one coaching, or a set of students who need a specialized or a dedicated coaching. So they may move out of the classroom, but they may still sit at home and do a much better job. International campus is going to be on your phone. There is no need for you to go abroad, spend a lot of money. In fact, education is going to now become very, very affordable. It is going to be just equitable. It's just and equitable. It's going to be a most democratic setup you will see, whether poor or a rich student from a underdeveloped country or a developed country, everybody is going to get this equal education, quality of education. That's something I think this, which was happening slowly, has this pandemic has resulted in a quick adoption, and that's what you will see going forward. Very quickly, this will emerge. Healthcare also will go through a lot of turbulence. Last 1.5 months, people have not taken much of consultancy. They have not visited the hospitals. That doesn't mean that last month I didn't go to hospital. This month I'll go. So there are a lot of lost opportunity in the health sector. Last month I didn't take the consultation, so this month I will go. So they don't do that. It doesn't work that way. So the hospitals working at 25 to 30% capacity will now have to live with that loss of opportunity. Hospitals will have to now charge low because there is a recession. There is a high awareness amongst the patients or the dependent, the relatives of the patients. They'll ask several questions before paying certain the fees. So you can see hospitals charging low to keep the capacity high because of the lost opportunity. Something very, very unique you heard about just day before. Wipro offered its entire Pune space for to converted that to 1,000 bed hospital. So a standalone office space is already converted into a 1,000 bed hospital and handed over to Pune authorities. So this shows that there's something very big coming up in the health sector. You will have the health sector having the hospitals coming like a large malls, like the structures you will see, because so many offices will now start moving to homes, and these are available as a health support system. So doctors who are always consulted in person, they were available on video call, and that's going to become an order of the day. Old people do not have to move out and go to these doctors. They can have an appointment, and doctor can work from home. He doesn't need a hospital space, and there's going to be a lot of changes happening in that medical consultancy. During this pandemic, there are a lot of remote robotic surgeries were used. AML was used in imageries. There's a lot of applications which are coming. Whole lot of technology upgradation will happen in the radiology, imageries, and the robotic surgeries. Usage of apps for routine checks also are coming up, and the startups in virology is going to be order of the day. Huge statistical data research are required for insurance companies to rework on their premiums, and these are something which a lot of research related students can look at exploring the opportunity. Finally, coming to the India emerging economy to leader, there have been talks in the last couple of weeks at least, that will India become a leader at this time, and do we become an alternative to, will we become a competition to the China? I just want to put certain simple numbers before you. India is the fifth largest economy. We are no more developing economy, a developing country, no such sorts. We are a fifth largest economy, period. We are a 2.93 trillion economy. We are just one step below the Germany, which is 3.86 trillion. And India is now ranked 52 in innovation index, which used to be around 160 3 years ago. That means more and more Indians are coming with innovative products. They're getting it patented, and these products are fetching them royalty income. So we have come to 52 in terms of innovation ranking. India is one of the largest producer of agri products. In fact, we are the largest in several products like the milk or the meat. Several such products. We are number one. In fact, we are actually the fifth largest in usage of solar power. Last year, we were the largest in terms of using the solar power for any country in the year 2019. There are opportunities in the economy for us. Agriculture sector may end up with a bumper crop this year, because though we were witnessing a lockdown, the agrarian sector was not. The farmers were working. There were certain logistics issues as far as the fertilizer and all reaching on time, but that also was sorted out. Rain was rain this year, the monsoon expected to be is expected to be normal this year, and already there are good showers have helped the farmers for pre cultivation season, um, preparing their land across. And we have about 300 plus large industries which are willing to relocate to India. This includes not only from China, several other countries like Japan and South Korea. Many countries have expressed their interest to relocate their facilities either from mostly from China. Now, will we be an alternative to China? Do we deliver on scale is something we need to see, because the kind of scale which China offers, it's very, very difficult for anybody to match. Do we have those capabilities? If you ask me, we have. We have some of the large banks which are working in India, very huge banks like State Bank, Punjab National Bank, ICICI, they are very large when compared to several banks across the country. We have a large power manufacturing capabilities. We have a huge steel industries, very, very large steel production industries. Our automobile industry is actually very, very large when it comes to the number of units produced. So we have a capability to deliver on scale. In fact, we are the second largest PPE kit manufacturing country in just 2 months. In the last 2 months, when there was a complete lockdown, we as a country, manufactured about 1.85 lakh kits of PPE, next best to China, which is unnoticed by anyone. Um, Now there is another question whether do we match the productivity of a Chinese labor? I think when time comes, the Indians will match those productivity. So India is now a proven healthcare destination. There's a lot of respect for Indian healthcare. People are mostly from all the countries are coming currently, but that is not widespread. It is happening to several states like Kerala and a couple of other states. But now that is going to increase. You will have a very, very uh, innovative holiday packages mixed with the healthcare sectors coming together. You will have some packages coming up, which to promote the tourism to India, which will take care of the holidays as well as the healthcare. We have been a very highly regulated financial markets. You never come across large malpractices or the scams. Maybe in the last 20 years, we have not come across any large scams breaking out of the financial markets. Wherever it has come up, it's been handled very efficiently. So that says that the foreign portfolio investors or the FDIs are likely to come back very, very soon. It may not take a long time for them to return to India. This is a time to harvest the demographic dividend of the country. We are a very, very young country with a lot of skills and capabilities. I just want to say, if we move to fourth largest economy, it means our GDP has grown to $4 trillion. It's a big number. And just to conclude my observation on this entire pandemic and touching upon a couple of topics, India is a very young country. It's time to observe, research, develop, and deliver. So all that we need to do is observe, research, develop, and deliver, so that we adopt, challenge, and emerge. So I think I've been able to complete within the time and left some time for our participant to ask questions, or
Thank you,
or
Narayan sir.
you can also supplement.
That was tons and tons of information, I guess, about the economy, not just India, international level as well. So I think if the members have any other questions that you want to clarify, and put forward your questions. You can unmute yourself and then ask your questions, or if you can type it on the chat, we can ask the question. Any questions, please do go ahead and ask. Guys? Nandan, if you want, you can take this.
Yeah, I'm having one question. I think, Ram, Raja is having one question. Let him ask so that I can take it for next.
Yeah, go ahead, Ram. You're on mute, I guess. Wait.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Now.
Sir, actually, my question is, as you said, like farmers are not stopped their working in this lockdown also, and they're having this transportation issue. So I also belong from a farming family. So is there any solution to like eliminate the transportation problem like in this lockdown session, or any new innovative startup to solve this problem?
Yeah, what happened in during this lockdown was initially when there was a lockdown, the lockdown applied to everything. That is the largely to the transportation sector, and agriculture, depends hugely on the transportation, the logistics sector. That was disturbed for about almost 20 days. So you had certain pain points that the farmer was not able to deliver, especially the highly perishable products like flour, fruit, and vegetables. So you had a interim problem for about 2 to 3 weeks because all the trucks were loaded and they were on in transit, and there was a huge disruption happened. So it took a couple of weeks for the whole system to figure out, and the trucks to go back, unload, and the trucks to and also you had a drivers leaving the trucks because they had to go home. They were not able to live on the street forever without knowing what's going to happen. So there was a 2-3 weeks of disruption that amounted to certain loss or inconvenience to the farming community that was on the crop which was ready to harvest. But quickly there was a reworking happened. All those trucks which were available empty, they started carrying the fertilizers back to the farmland, and from there they started getting the vegetables and highly perishable product, so that it did not have to go through the storage facilities. So you did not have, during this entire lockdown across India, there was no shortage of vegetables or the food grains. That's because of the whole logistics which worked. Having said that, you still have a problem. You have a problem as far as the logistics still continuing, because there are farmers who have to transport things to the large cities. So you have an aggregation. Lot of aggregation apps have come, which is like the Olas or the sharing Olas of the Bangalore. Similarly, you have the apps in the agriculture sector which can aggregate their produce, put it in a truck, and go to the nearest thing. Having said that, it is still open. It's a very large sector. You still have a lot of pain points left in that agriculture sector. Maybe if you can do a lot of research, you have possibility to apply your technology skill, bring the two markets together. So it is still open. Though the big baskets and the Flipkarts and the all others are still working with the farmers to source, you still have an option. There are many pain points. Lots of pain points are there, especially delivering the credit. Delivering a credit to the agriculture lives on a very short credit period, 30 days to 90 days. If they are growing vegetables and tomatoes and things like that, they want a credit for about 60 days, and 90 days you have the produce for sale. So agriculture requires a very short period credit delivery, and there is a huge space in that. If you are able to work with the MFIs with a proper apps or tools, you have a business there available. But I suggest you have to make lots of research, because everybody is trying to do one or the other apps there. Apps are going to be like websites right now, but then there is a huge pain points in the agri sector.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Good. Thanks, Narayan. So thank you. Okay, so there are a lot of comments coming up saying very informative session, very interesting topics that was discussed.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions that you guys have?
Joe, I have one question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So we have seen from past 45 days that, the developed countries companies like Amazon or Facebook or Silver Lake are coming down and investing on Reliance. And last 2-3 days back, Amazon started investing on Future Group, Big Bazaar.
Yeah.
So, and Facebook taking, matlab, they are investing on Reliance, and also the Silver Lake on the next day again they invested. So is there a tactics or any strategies what these developed countries are making so that to get a role in India? So is there
Yeah.
something like that? Because we have seen that in the last previous days, like Walmart came, they took over the Flipkart and completely they have taken over now. So is that same strategy do they have in their minds?
Yes. See, Indian economy is a very safe economy because it is largely a consumption economy. You see, we are 130 crore people. Whatever we produce, we can consume here. Very little we have to export. Rather, we need some more imports also available. So we are not a country which is going to, lose our population to old age or to the loss of population like any other countries. Till 2050, we are going to grow in terms of our population. We are maybe touching about 155 crore or 160. Then it will start tapering down. So the country which is well educated, the country which is not hungry and poor, we still have about $2,500. That is, the average Indian earning today is about 1.5 to 1.6 lakh rupees per annum. So it's not bad compared to what it was 10 years ago. So the consumption is a very interesting point of Indian economy. You don't get any such market anywhere except China. China will not allow you to do all these things. So the next best population country, well-behaved country, regulated country, a very polite country is India, and that is where everybody wants to be in. You don't have to worry about the consumption. Consumption is assured. Everybody will eat, everybody will wear dress, everybody will consume petrol, everybody have to move. So this is a given economy. It's a safe economy. Why Walmarts and Flipkarts are coming in, acquiring the futures? See, there is the more and more you are going virtual, there is a need for a real business also. There is a point where if you have a big bazaars and the metros, you are also mixing up, you are adding, support, taking the support of online businesses, because that is helping as a delivery system. So the more and more you are there in a virtual, you are losing out on the physical. That is also required. So marrying these two things together is where you have the maximum or optimization of the profit. That's why all these backward and forward integrations are happening. Coming back to the Reliance Jio is now going to be a tech company than a telecom company. So you will see going forward, Reliance Jio is going to be a tech company, because the web-based business, web browser is going to be a thing of the past. Things will all move to WhatsApp and WhatsApp-based business. For example, Reliance Jio has a MSME marketplace on WhatsApp, which is going to be huge. This is going to revolutionize the whole MSME industries, because MSME as a marketplace, they don't have an access. Everybody tries to do a business with their known contacts. Now you can move this entire MSME business to a marketplace which is on WhatsApp, which is so easy to work with. And Reliance has the other capabilities of the storage. They have the online shopping. They have so many things. It's like on Alibaba coming to your Indian space. Plus the technology, which Facebook and others are going to work with them. So this is how there is going to be a lot of churn which is going to happen. Maybe Flipkart is also scared that this Reliance is coming with Mart on the WhatsApp. So you'll have some churn there. People will try to strengthen their business.
Yeah, thanks Narayan sir for answering the question. Any other questions, guys? If you have any other questions, please do unmute yourself and then ask. Or if you can also put it on the chat as well. Okay. So if there's no other questions. Abhi, can you come in?
Yeah, so I think anybody with any more questions,
Questions?
I think can get in touch with Narayan sir directly.
So
I think
Narayan sir has already given his
yeah, he's
information
put his
here.
contact details there. So if anybody has any questions, any queries, I hope startup ideas are also accepted. Ideas, or maybe I think more than ideas. I hope.
It is ready to implement.
Yes. So I guess more than ideas. Yes. So I think before we end this, just a quick thank you to Narayan sir for sharing all these insights. I think it's very important for all of us, within Rotaract and those not within Rotaract, all people our age, to actually know all of these things. So thank you, Nandan, as well. I think Nandan invited Narayan sir for this session as well. We're gonna have a few more of these sessions. Thank you, everybody, whoever has come today. I see a lot of people who keep returning for our sessions as well. I think Mona, Shreya, and obviously Pragya ma'am has been like a constant support. She's always come for all of our sessions.
Thank you so much.
It's been amazing. Thank you so much, everybody. Stay tuned to this space. We'll be having a lot more stuff coming, a lot more interesting stuff. Once again, thank you, Narayan sir, for being here with us.
Thanks, Joseph. Thank
you, sir.
Nandan, and to all of you. Thank you so much. It's
It
my
was a great
pleasure to be
session.
amongst very young people. It's my I always derive satisfaction working or talking to my younger friends. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so
Absolutely,
much, sir.
Thank you.
We'll
Yes,
definitely
thank you,
have
sir.
many more sessions like this. Thank you so much
I'm
again.
always willing. I'm always willing
Yes.
to be part of it.
Yes, I thank all the other club members who have also joined us. Shrikara, Vidya Sagar, Shreya, thank you so much for joining. And Pragya ma'am, thanks a lot again for supporting us. Thank you so much. I think Narayan sir, there's a lot of comments that is coming up. It was a great session. Thank you again. So I think it was very interesting session today. Lots of information that you have shared to us on this pandemic situation. Again, thank you everyone. So let's catch up again in the next session of RCB speaker series. So before we leave, we'll take a group picture.
Yeah. So before that, this session has been recorded. Narayan sir, I'll be sharing the recorded stuff with you.
Yeah.
For people here, whoever think that your friends or whoever can benefit out of this, please do share the recording with them as well.
Guys, you can please turn on your video.
So everybody, you can turn on your video and just close the chat also.
And Narayan sir, is it okay if I share the contact information on our social media?
Yes.
Is that fine?
Yes. Yeah, you can share or you can aggregate and ask me. Okay. Even during the normal days, you have any queries from my young friends, you can always send it to me and I will address. Or if they want to talk to me one-on-one offline, also they can speak. My whole idea is to benefit you. I may have some experience, but I'll also stand to gain from your experience. But then I would be very glad to work for your community. That is the youngsters. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yes, guys. Okay.
Are taken.
Smile, guys. So that let me also take a screenshot. Abhi.
Yeah. Done. I've screenshots are taken. We can take some more in the recording also.
Okay.
So we can
cool
do
then.
that also.
Thank you so much again for joining.
Thank you, guys.
So let's catch up.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thanks. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.